We are looking at Abby's Freestyle, commentary by Coach Chris. Let's let this run real quick as we take a look. Now Abby's swimming with a straight arm free, and she's actually doing a few things right with a straight arm free on that recovery. We're going to talk about a few things though, kind of help understand what we're trying to do. Now the straight arm freestyle recovery, it's a good recovery. It's more popular now, especially among the freestyle sprinters in the 50 free and the 100 free. It's not as popular in the longer distances. You're not going to see it that much in the 200 free. You're not going to see it that much in the 500 free. You're not going to see it that much in the long distance stuff. The IMers aren't going to use it that much. And the reason is, now, if you're doing the straight arm free as you watch Abby do it, one thing she does good about her straight arm free is she has a very high recovery. Okay, she's getting her arms really high in that recovery, especially on her breath, which is what we like. Let's see, we're going to take this. So she's coming out nice and high. And what that does is that lifts her up out of the water. And the object of a 50 or 100 freestyler is to get as high in the water as you can. Now, if you watch a lot of top 100 freestylers, they tend to transition. They don't do the straight arm the whole time. But it is generally a good stroke for those sprints. Now, an aside would be you don't see it quite as much with the girls. And one of the reasons you don't see it so much with the girls is it's a very power-driven stroke. Now, Abby's got the form down really, really well, but the benefits probably aren't there yet because she isn't a full-grown teenager. She doesn't quite have her full-grown body, so her muscles are a little underdeveloped for this style swim, but a few things we can watch. Now, I'm watching this finish here. One thing about the freestyle is you want to make sure that you're finishing all the way back. You can see her hand coming out at her hip. Now, this is regardless whether you're going straight arm or whether you're going bent arm, but she wants to bring that out right here at the knee and reach all the way back. That's really kind of important. So she's not quite finishing her stroke. Now, this is a breakout stroke, so there is a little bit of a difference there, but if you see right here, this is something she does that not a lot of kids do correctly with a straight arm free. You're going to watch as she exits. The path she's on is very, very high. That's excellent. And then she turns the palm down. So that's something that usually I have to talk to swimmers about, that she's already doing right. So that looks really, really great right here. This is a really good position for that straight arm free. The only thing I would gripe at is her head is still underwater. You can see that head right there. Her eyes are still down. She's looking this way. Okay, and what we would want is her head to be up at this point. When we're approaching that breakout, she needs to look forward and lift her head as she initiates that pull, not at the back end of the pull. So here, her head's still a little bit too in line. Back up a little bit. Back up a little more. So here's where she needs to look forward. She needs to look forward right here to get her head up higher. But right now her head's still back. And now she's looking forward at the front of the stroke. So lift that head up a little sooner and you're going to find it a little easier. But look at how nice and high this straight arm gets her body out of the water. I mean, like I said, she's not getting the power she will out of it because the muscle strength isn't there. But as she develops, this is a good stroke. And the thing I really like about it is right here. A lot of kids who do the straight arm don't do this correctly. So she's bent the elbow, and she's actually relaxing the arm and let it collapse a little bit. So you have that nice bend there. That's something you don't really see a lot that I have to talk to swimmers about. When she's doing that freestyle, she doesn't want to slam the arm on the water straight. You're not trying to make a lot of splash. You're not trying to slap the top of the water. So the fact that she goes from the straight arm over the top and then lets her hand kind of take the lead, and she lets her arm bend and drive in, that's really, really good. So as far as straight arm freestyle goes, I really like what I'm seeing. And again, on the other side, just not finishing back. You know, one of the points of the straight arm free is to push all the way back and through and lock out the arm before it exits the water. So you're lifting the arm more as a unit. And she's still bending the elbow and lifting it up first. And you can definitely see it here in this frame. But again, she gets the palm down, nice high rotation, getting her up. That's really, really good. Let's look at the other side real quick. And again, right from the first stroke, I really like the form of her freestyle. Here on the left side, we're seeing, this is what I was talking about don't slap the surface. Here we can see her arm stays straight and it just slams down. You can kind of see the whole impression of the arm as it comes in. That's a really good shot of what happens. And that's just disturbing the water and slowing her down and slowing down the energy from her arms. Let's see if her right arm does better. And see here, this one collapses. You see how the elbow relaxes as she falls? So pretty much once she gets to the top and gets to this side of the swing for the recovery, that falling half of the recovery, you want that arm to relax a little bit. You want the hand to take over, and you want the fingertips to lead, just like this stroke. So see, that one, her arm drives in properly. And here the left arm comes out. Her left arm, you see it stays a lot straighter. And part of that is she's just not rolling that side out quite as much. You can see her chest is really, really buried in this one. So even though it's straight arm, you can't really see any part of her body because her body, she's not rolling enough on her side. She tends to breathe to the right, and that's part of the issue. If we jump forward, we'll see that. Now look at the difference. On the other side, I couldn't see her armpit. I couldn't see her suit. Now we're looking at her. This is her right arm, not her left arm. And we're seeing her suit. We're seeing her entire armpit, her entire arm or shoulder. Really nice high roll. Let's jump back. And this is that same frame we just looked at. So again, she needs to roll a little more on her left side when she's doing that recovery. So that side gets up as high as the right. So slight imbalance, but that tends to happen with the younger kids, especially as we are developing. Now here she's breathing to the left going into the turn, so she's getting up higher. The one thing she needs to watch when she's taking these breaths is to make sure she's not looking up. Because what that straight arm is going to want to do is it's going to want to roll onto her back a little more like backstroke. So we talk about this all the time in practice, but when she takes these breaths, especially with that straight arm free, she needs to keep the eyes low and look straight across the surface of the water to the side, as low as she can. Now that doesn't mean she doesn't roll onto her side as much as possible, but the roll is from the shoulders and hips. It is not from the head. And here she's just turning a little bit too far, looking a little bit too far up. And again, you see her left arm has a habit. See, this entire left arm here is slapping the surface. Left arm has a habit of slapping that surface, and the right arm doesn't. So I want her left arm to get more like her right arm, because I really like what I'm seeing. Good turn. I like what she's doing with the streamline, and she's got a nice, tight, long streamline. She's got a long body for her age. She's skinny. She's got a very small drag profile, so she's getting so much out of that. If she keeps developing it, she's just going to be really tough to beat through the walls. And again, this stroke, this breakout stroke, other than the head being mistimed, is exactly, this is a straight arm stroke. She just needs to finish more, but if she pushes all the way through the back, this is a perfect straight arm stroke here. She gets it up, palm down. She rotates palm down on the fall, lets the hand kind of get ahead of the elbow, lets the arm relax on the fall, and then she drives forward. So I really like that right arm. Left arm is a little too mechanical. Here we can see it again. It's just staying straight, where the right one kind of relaxes after it gets up to the top. She keeps the left arm locked because she's forcing it a little too much, and now it's slamming down on the water. The left side, not where we want it. Right side, exactly where we want it. Except for we want to finish more out the back. Still, I really like what I'm seeing with this freestyle. And so we just got to keep tweaking a few things, and she'll have a very effective straight arm free. That being said, keep in mind she needs to be able to transition to a more relaxed, I wouldn't say completely bent arm, but she needs to relax the straight arm a little on longer things. Especially since she's a 400 she's a breaststroker, and a 400 IM is definitely in the wheelhouse for good events for her. So as she gets older, more developed, and starts racing a little bit of more of the IMs, I mean, having a little bit more bent arm, a little bit more relaxed arm is how I'd phrase it, would help her on the end of those IMs. It's going to be hard to close with a straight arm free at the very end of a race like that. Her muscles will be just too fatigued. But still, for straight arm freestyle, this is some of the best I've seen at this age range. I really like what I'm seeing, so keep it up.